Hello and welcome to MLM for CEOs. This is a channel that's geared towards company leaders and industry leaders who are trying to get into multi-level marketing or who are using multi-level marketing as a route to market for their products. Today, I'm going to carry on with the series that I've been doing on compensation plans. I've already done all of the structure side of the comp plan. And what I'm going to be dealing with in this next section is the commission elements and how the commission hangs together and how you reward people. So let's dive straight in. First of all, it's a quick recap. When you are choosing your compensation plan, it all starts with structure. So in order to have a proper compensation plan for your business, you need to have the correct structure for your business. So what I suggest you do is watch the structure videos that I've done. I'll make sure there's a link in the bottom of this video for you to go back and take a look at those and then decide on what structure you want within your business. Once you've chosen the structure and that structure is based on your business, you can then choose the compensation plan elements that are also based on what you're trying to do, the outcomes, your business, your product, the information you're trying to drive in your company. So structure, then commission elements, and then we worry about things like status and rank and all of that kind of thing. Now, the one big mistake that people make is they've either come from another company or they've seen another company and somebody's told them how awesome that company's compensation plan is, and they then go out and copy the compensation plan. Now, that is a huge mistake, and I'll tell you why. We've had companies come to us complaining bitterly about having chosen a really bad plan and it's not driving the correct behaviors, etc. And in the same week, somebody comes to us and tells us they want to copy that company's plan. Now, if you're not designing your plan from the ground up, the chances of you getting somebody else's mistakes are high. You need to think through your plan, think through what you're trying to achieve, and make sure that your plan drives all of those behaviors. Don't just go out there and copy somebody else's compensation plan. Then, commission is actually a collection of elements. Each element is specifically designed with a purpose in mind. So the whole idea of your commission elements is that what you want to do is you want to drive behavior. So you want to decide what behavior do you want to drive, and then how are you going to drive it with the commissions. So the idea is to sit there and work out your behavior first and then your commission elements afterwards. Each one will drive a specific behavior for you. In other words, if you're wanting to drive retail, you want people to sell the product, you have to have specific retail commissions. And we'll talk about that in the next section. If you want people to sell a lot of product, you have to structure your commissions in such a way that the more product they sell, the more money they earn, etc. Now, commission is only 20% of the story. We find that a lot of companies come to us, and because the owner of the company is highly motivated by money, he thinks that everybody's motivated by money. But the reality is that most people will stay in a job where they're feeling fulfilled long after they'll stay in a job where they're being well paid but being unfulfilled. So people will leave high-paying jobs to go to a lower-paying job to achieve fulfillment in their lives. And you need to be aware of that. The commission is only 20% of the story. There's the product, there's incentives, there's recognition, there's social. All sorts of other things come into play here. And so don't focus all of your efforts on commissions. You have to have a good compensation plan, but understand that's going to drive 20% of the behavior. What commission isn't a charity. Now, many of our clients come to us and they've been involved in a network marketing company. And they've had a look at what drove them and what motivated them, and they figure they didn't succeed because the compensation plan didn't pay out enough money or whatever it is. So what they do is they make the compensation plan way too attractive and they put tremendous pressure on the finances of the company, or they make promotion way too easy and there's no real achievement in getting up the ranks. So when you're deciding on what compensation elements you're going to use, you've got to be really careful that you are thinking through this in terms of treating people as if they've got a job. In other words, if I came to work for you and you expected me to do certain tasks within your business, you would give me a compensation package that encouraged me to do those jobs properly. If I was a salesperson for you, you would give me an incentive package that would allow me to earn more money if I sold more products, etc. So you need to view this from a company point of view, not from a networker point of view. You need to say to yourself, listen, I want to make an attractive compensation plan, but it needs to be within the bounds of reality and it needs to drive the behavior I'm looking to drive. And then you don't want to make promotion too easy. When a person gets to the top of your network, gets that top rank, you need to make that promotion difficult. In other words, not everybody should get there, because those are your parade horses. Those are the people you're going to walk across the stage and everybody's going to cheer for them. Those are the people are going to aim for, and they need to be earning a lot of money. So when they get there, they need to have built a massive team so that the money they're earning shows off that, listen, if you get to diamond status in our company or the rank of diamond, you are going to earn huge money. You're going to be able to drive a fancy car, live in a fancy house, employ fancy staff to help you out. So you need to make the promotion relatively difficult. Now, we'll be discussing promotions in a third part of the series. Right now, we're just dealing with the compensation plan element. Then, if you are thinking, well, I didn't succeed in multi-level marketing, you need to look at that company and one of two things happened. Either you joined the wrong company or you didn't do the correct work. Now, if that company's been going for a while, there'll be top people in that company, and you need to ask yourself, how did those top people succeed? How did they get to the top of their game? How come they are earning a lot of money and you didn't? And you will find that the problem is not with the compensation plan or how difficult it was or how unattractive it was in your eyes. The problem is that you didn't do what was necessary to get to the top of the network. So don't think of this thing in terms of your lack of success in somebody else's network. Think of this in terms of you being the CEO of this company and you are wanting to drive people who are going to put in the effort to succeed in your network. And those people who put in the effort and do the things you want them to do, you want to pay those guys a fortune. And the people who do very little, you don't want to pay them because they're doing very little for you. So there needs to be a direct transfer of value here. They do the things you want them to do, and you pay them the kind of money they want to earn. Cloning some other company, in this particular scenario, if you've been involved in a company like maybe an Amway or Herbalife or whatever, and you've been involved in them, cloning their strategy is a really bad idea. You can never compete with them anyway, because a company like Amway is doing, 10, 11, 12 billion US dollars a year. You can't compete in that space. So you have to come up with something that actually sets you aside, that there's some differentiation, and you're not just a clone on some other highly successful company, because that genuinely will not drive the behavior you're looking for. So the idea is you tailor the plan to your business. You tailor the plan so that your business is working for you. You focus on your team structure. You focus on the products, because remember, the products are everything. You make sure your products have got enough margin in them. This is another huge mistake people make. They get a product, they don't have enough margin in it, then they try and pay out commissions from that margin. Either they bankrupt the companies or they don't have enough money to pay commissions and the people leave. So you need to make sure that there are margins in the product, and then you need to make sure you understand clearly what the company's goals are. So what are you trying to achieve? And you need to break this right down to sales targets. So what are your sales targets per month over the next 12 months, over the next 3 years, whatever it is? And then company and member targets should be taken into account. So in order to hit company targets, you need to say, well, what are the targets per member? And then when you've worked out the targets per member, you need to understand exactly what they need to do, how much they need to sell, what ranks they need to be at to achieve the volumes that you need to achieve to hit your company targets. And then you break it down to how many members you need. So if you need 1,000 members to achieve your targets, then you need to know, okay, this is what I need to do to go out and get those 1,000 members. And then you've got your network targets. Company-sponsored lines, how many people is the company going to directly sponsor? So traditionally, you would want about 100 company-sponsored lines. So you would want 100 people frontline to the company. Never, ever, ever, ever give away the top position to someone. Never promise somebody that they can have the top of the network. That is a complete and utter disaster. And I cannot stress that enough. I've seen companies do it. They land up with some guy occupying a position. They're paying them absolute fortunes, and they cannot get rid of them because there's a big financial burden on them to get the guy out. The guy lands up not working, or the girl lands up not working, and you're just stuck with them. So you never, ever give anybody the top position. You should have at least 100 company-sponsored lines. Then how many recruits do you want to have per member? So then you set your members' targets. Remember that on average, globally, you've got a 1.2 member recruits per member. So 1.2 recruits per member. And so you need to make sure that your targets for your members who are successful are high enough to at least get you to the 1.2 mark. So you'll know that 80% of your people will do nothing, little to nothing. 20% will make it happen. It's those 20% that you need to fire up and focus them on 5 or 10 or 20 recruits over their period, over their lifetime with your business. And then what average income do you need them to earn? So let's say you need them to earn $1,000 a month. You need to work that back and say, how much product do they need to sell? How many people do they need to recruit? What do they need to actually achieve to hit that milestone? And that will give you an understanding on how to structure your business, what kind of structure you need to have, etc. Now, work through the compensation elements, and that's what we're going to do with this next section. So this next part of the series, we're going to be working through exactly how those compensation elements work and how you put them into your plan. And remember, you can have any selection of compensation elements. You can have multiple different types of networks and structures. You can have different types of elements in it. You can have retail, and volume bonus, and level-based commission, and short leg commission, and two-up commissions. There's all sorts of commissions you can put into your system, and you need to just work through that, and we'll be doing that in the next series. Then we're going to work through ranks in the series after that, and then we'll talk about statuses and how to control the network through statuses. And then I'm going to work through, as a final part of the series, the compensation example. So I'll take you through a plan, how we put it together, give you an example of how that plan works. So thank you for joining me on that first segment. In a few days' time, I'll be releasing the next, or dropping the next one on the web, and you can take a look at that. I'll let you know. Thanks. Cheers.